Hey, back on the CD Drama channel. Eyes tonight. We're not just turning over an old leaf, but diving into a silence that for years has felt louder than words. The real reason Xiao Zhan has been silent about Wang Yibo until now. A silence that has sparked curiosity, spawned thousands of theories, and entangled the emotions of millions of fans worldwide. Since the Untamed exploded and turned these two names into global phenomena, Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo have seemed to walk two parallel paths that never truly intersect in the public sphere. On screen, their bond is eternal and touching. But in the real world, one name has slowly faded from the other's lips. Not because of forgetfulness, but because of something more complicated. Xiao Zhan's silence isn't an empty space. It's full of echoes. Every interview without a mention, every detour, every suppressed smile, all form a new language that can only be read by those willing to delve into the deepest layers of the harsh and unforgiving Chinese entertainment industry. Behind the spotlight, fame isn't just a gift. It's an unspoken contract with the public, with the media, with the unseen forces that control the narrative. After the great storm that once engulfed Xiao Zhan, every word weighed. Every name uttered could be turned into a weapon. Silence, in such circumstances, was often the only safe option. Wang Yibo, on the other hand, was a symbol of measured freedom. His career soared across various fields, but always framed by strict discipline and control. When two stars with such intense trajectories once collided, the residual energy never truly dissipated. It was simply stored, neatly tucked away, and kept from exploding in the wrong place. Many have asked, is Xiao Zhan protecting something? It's a fair question. In a world where narratives can be twisted in a matter of seconds, protecting can mean protecting oneself, protecting others, or protecting memories too precious for public consumption. The Chinese entertainment industry teaches one thing: personal boundaries are a precious currency. Too close, too honest, too open, all can turn into risks. Xiao Zhan learned from experience, from pain, from constant scrutiny. His silence may not be a rejection, but rather a coping strategy. However, this silence also carries emotion. There are bonds that don't need to be announced to remain. There is respect that doesn't need the validation of cameras. There is a past that is simply tucked away, untouched by rumors and speculation. Fans sense it. They read between the lines, catching subtle vibrations and gestures, in unspoken words. Because for some relationships, what matters most isn't what's said, but what's deliberately left unsaid. The media often demands simple explanations for complex stories. Yet human relationships are rarely linear. What happened after the Untamed wasn't a closure, but a transition. A phase in which two individuals chose to grow in their own ways. Silence can also be a form of maturity. When the past is too easily misinterpreted, leaving it intact is a brave decision. Xiao Zhan may have chosen not to add to the noise, not to change the meaning, not to reduce something once sincere to a fleeting headline. There's also the factor of fan intensity that can't be ignored. Great love often comes with greater expectations. In the whirlpool of collective emotion, a single sentence can trigger uncontrollable waves. Silence, once again, became a protective barrier for all parties. Does this mean their relationship is fading? Not necessarily. Some bonds find their strongest form when removed from the spotlight. Like a star that continues to shine even when obscured by clouds, its existence is independent of the eye that sees it. Years after the Untamed changed everything, the meaning of this silence has only deepened. It has become a space for reflection on how fame shapes choices, how trauma teaches caution, and how affection can be expressed in unconventional ways. Xiao Zhan never says much, but his attitude is consistent. That consistency itself is a message, a silent statement that not every story needs to be retold to stay alive. For Wang Yibo, the journey continues. For Xiao Zhan, silence is the foundation. Two different paths, yet they once crossed with unforgettable intensity. And perhaps that's where the beauty lies. The silence also taught us something important, that time changes how people interpret relationships. What once felt like it had to be made public now feels safer to keep to yourself. Xiao Zhan is at a stage where his every move is being scrutinized, and in such circumstances, choosing to remain silent is not a weakness, but rather a sign of complete control over his own life. There's an invisible weight that comes with a big name. Every time Xiao Zhan appears in public, he represents not only himself, but also the image, expectations, and pressures attached to him. Mentioning Wang Yibo, for some, might seem simple, but in a world that loves to twist meanings, it can turn into a never-ending storm of interpretations. On the other hand, Wang Yibo stands in his own world, with his career path constantly evolving. Xiao Zhan's silence may also be a form of respect, a distance deliberately maintained so that each can move forward without the shadows of the past constantly being pulled back to the surface. Interestingly, the longer the silence lasts, the stronger its appeal becomes. Fans not only remember what happened, but also feel what was never explained. And that's where emotions operate, in the empty space filled with imagination, longing, and an insatiable curiosity. There's something deeply human about the choice to remain silent. In a world demanding clarification on everything, silence becomes the most subtle form of resistance. Xiao Zhan seems to be silently saying that not every story should be left for the public to judge and condemn. Perhaps for Xiao Zhan, the Untamed isn't just a project that catapulted him to fame. It's a phase of his life, a piece of the journey that shaped who he is today. And like many precious memories, he chooses to keep them hidden away from rumors or excessive expectations. The fans who have persevered are slowly learning to interpret the new meaning. They no longer simply wait for recognition, but rather appreciate each other's journeys. A collective maturity that grows over time, though still shrouded in a subtle sense of longing. Xiao Zhan's silence also reflects the changing dynamics of the entertainment industry itself. Today, images are more guarded, narratives more controlled, and small mistakes can have far-reaching consequences. In this landscape, silence is no longer a void, but a calculated strategy. And in the end, perhaps that's the point. It's not about what Xiao Zhan didn't say about Wang Yibo, but about the choice to keep something pure in a world that loves to pry and demand. Because some bonds don't need public recognition to be meaningful. They're simply known by those who've experienced them. So, what does all this mean for us as fans? Perhaps it's an invitation to cherish silence, to understand that not all love, respect, or memories need to be translated into words. Because sometimes, the most honest things are the ones left unsaid. And in Xiao Zhan's silence about Wang Yibo lies a story that lives on, not because it's spoken, but because it's guarded.